Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. In the end of Perek Gimel of Pirkei Avos, Mishnah Yud Ches, Rabbi Eliezer ben Chisma says, Kinin upischei nida hein gufei halachis. If you want to know what the real meat and potatoes of Torah Shebal Peh is, it's the laws of Kinin, which is the laws of the Karbonos Ha'oif, because it's very difficult what happens if they got mixed with other Karbonos, other regular birds. And upischei nida, the laws of nida, those are difficult halachas, and you get a lot of schar for studying these things because they're very difficult. So this is the Ikar Torah Shebal Peh, as it's brought in the Mefarshim. However, Tkufos Gimatrios, however, to study the cycles of the how the calendar works, etc., etc. Gimatrios, and we'll soon talk what Gimatrios are. Parparois lachachma. They are like spices, like condiments to chachma. There is the chachma, there is intellectual, deep thoughts and difficult thoughts to learn. Then there is the easy stuff, the extras, the spices, the filling to the sandwich. Parparois lachachma. So Tkufos is, as the Bartanura says, hiluch hamazolis, to figure out how the mazolis work and the change of cycles, etc., etc., which is interesting for the people who have a knack for it. Gimatrios, so the Bartanura says, in a common pirush, a common interpretation of Gimatria is calculation of the words, calculation of the letter. We know that throughout, as I'll soon bring many examples, even in the halacha, we find Gimatrias, that the words, the alphabet in Yiddishkeit, every one of the alphabets symbolizes a number, represents a number. Aleph, 1, Beis, 2. If somebody knows how to use the Gimatrias properly, that's a tool, that's a condiment, that's a tool, extra excitement for the Chachma. Actually, you look into the English translations of this Mishnah, you'll find some say Gimatria, and they translate it Gimatria. And actually, Mefarshim say that the root for the word Gimatria may even be a Greek word which means three, the letter and the number three. But it has a basis in Greek language. Others translate Gimatria mathematics. Mathematics is the use of numbers to know what's fine. And you'll find some even translated geometry. Why is the translation so split? So actually, it's a Tosfos Yontif. The Tosfos Yontif on this Mishnah begins by saying that Gimatrios is cheshbon ha'oisius, to calculate the numerical value of every letter. And he brings many examples. For example, when Yaakov said, Redu Shama, go down to Mitzrayim, so he said Redu. Redu is the three letters for Redu are Reish, Dalid, Vav. And that's a symbol. Reish is 200, Dalid is 4, and Vav is 6. That's a symbol for the 210 years that Yidden are going to be in Mitzrayim. Redu Shama, go down there, and you'll be there for the years, as many years as the word Redu. Then, another pasuk as a gematria we find in Vayikra, it says Bezois Yavai Aaron, with this Aaron will enter the Beis Hamikdash. So it says the Mishkan Bezois is a remez for the Bayis Rishon. Why? Bezois, if you take Beis 2, Zayin 7, Aleph 1, and Tuf 400, then the numerical value of all four together make up 410. 410 is the years, how long Beis Rishon stood. And then we have many other places, many other places where we learn dinim from the numerical value. And he goes on to say, I'm going to get back to the numerical part, because you'll see a halachic discussion about this too. He brings that others translate that Chachamenu Hishilu Hashem from the Greek language. The Chachamim used this word Gimatria as a title for all matters of cheshbon, of calculation or numbers. And then he brings the Re'isi b'derech Chaim. I saw in the Sefer Derech Chaim shemefarish kach, the Gimatria is the Mishnah Seinu, that he interprets what does Gimatria mean in our Mishnah. Chochmas hamedida v'atashboros, the wisdom of measuring things, which would be why some translated geometry, how to measure land. And he actually says the imkain, it actually makes sense, because who's the one that's saying that Gimatria is such a spice, such a good thing to know? It's Rabbi Elazar ben Chisma. And it's known to be said about Rabbi Elazar ben Chisma that Rabbi Yeshua testified about him that sheyedeya l'shar kama tipos yesh b'yam. He was so good in estimates that he was able to look at a pool of water. He was able to look at it's obviously it's an example. He was able to look at the ocean and water and say, I could tell you approximately how many drops there are in the water. So you see how he appreciated this type of knowledge. Back to Gimatrias, I'll tell you a couple of interesting Gimatrias that are brought in Paiskim. And first of all is the one that Rashi himself brings in Parsha Shlach. We all know that, and Rashi quotes that, what does the word tzitzis mean? The end of Parsha Shlach, where the Torah tells us the mitzvah of tzitzis. So Rashi says tzitzis is tzadik yud taf. Tzadik is 90, yud is 10. Twice is 200, and taf is 400. That equals up 600. The word tzitzis. And later on, you plus the 5 knots and the 8 strings is 613. So when you look at the tzitzis, we all know that there's a very important point to look at tzitzis, especially when you kiss it and you fulfill the mitzvah, because it uri'isem kol mitzvahs Hashem. When you look at the tzitzis, you see 613. So we see how Gimatria plays a very big role in Torah. The Ramban, when you look at the Ramban on that parsha, Parsha Shlach, the Ramban says, excuse me, look in the Torah. The word tzitzis is not mentioned, not written tzadik yud saf. It's written tzadik yud saf. So we're missing 10. So some Mefarshim say, because it says v'hoyu lachem litzitzis, it says 2 tzitzis with a letter lamed. There are 3 times mentioned the word tzitzis in that parsha, and all 3 times it's missing the yud, so you're short 10. So the lamed, v'hoyu lachem litzitzis, where you're short 3 times 10, the lamed makes up that 30 that's missing. Just to show you how rich it is, the gematrias, the numbers in Yiddishkeit. In Kabbalah, Chassidus, we find numbers also add up to very important lessons. The most famous one is Elohim, Aleph, Lamed, Hey, Yud, Mem. They add up 86, which is the same numerical value of Hateva, which nature. 86. And Chassidus goes on to explain that only through the Shem Elikim there is nature, because it has to be contracted. It has to be, Hashem's name has to Kavayochel be limited in the way how he's controlled, Nachas V'Shalom controlled, the way he's minimized in time and space. Nature is from Shem Elikim. But if it would be from Shem Hashem, which is unlimited, we wouldn't have all these limitations. Let me give you another practical example, which is not halacha, it is just common people say. Common people say a perfect example. Sheker, shin kuf reish. Sheker means lie, false. Shin kuf reish is 600. Emes, aleph mem saf, is 441. If you take 441 to 600, how much are you missing? You're missing 159. 159 is koton, means small. There is a small line between truth and false. Just showing you beautiful thoughts there is a very thin line between being honest and falling and saying a lie. Another common folk Gimatria. Ratzui means what you would like to have. You're trying to establish a family. You're trying to establish a business. You're trying to run a program or whatever. There is Ratzui. Ratzui is what's desired. Ratzui is 306. But not every time what you want you could actually fulfill. It's not suitable. It's not possible. What is possible? Matsui. Matsui means what's relevant, what you have available. Matsui is 146. So what's available, accessible to you to make is 146. What you would like is 306. How much are you missing in between? 160. You know what 160 is? Kesef, money. You have what you have without money. If you add the additional kesef, the additional money, you could achieve even what you would like.